All right, guys, welcome back to day two. We'll go over yesterday first real quick. Yesterday was the first time I've done a video. I think I watched it 2 or 3 times today while I was working, and I'm really proud of it. I was really genuinely entertained by myself, which is, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything. I don't think I'm the best or anything close like that, but I think I did an okay job, and I want to continue this streak. And I want to go over some fantasy matchups for tomorrow night's game, Thursday Night Football, between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Mavericks game on in the background because I just have to know what's going on. I'm going to turn it down just a tiny little bit. But I'm going to keep the volume up just a little bit just in case something crazy happens, because it is a good game, and you guys already know how much I love the Dallas Mavericks. So tomorrow night we have the San Diego, aka Los Angeles Chargers, which I can't be the only one that still refers to them as San Diego. I didn't think that they should have moved from San Diego. I think they should have stayed there. San Diego is a great part of the country. Fantastic weather. The people there are great. The fans, from what I know, are great. I used to work with one of my buddies. He was a huge San Diego fan. Huge San Diego Chargers fan. He loved them. He still does, obviously, because who else is he going to root for? But the NFL, they did a really disservice to the San Diego fan base by moving the team. The owners of the organization, they should not have done that. They should have kept the team in San Diego and, worked with the city to try to get a better stadium. We all know that stadium was a piece of shit. Everybody knows that. But multiple stadiums are pieces of shit. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a Dallas Cowboys Texas Stadium state-of-the-art season. Not everywhere has to have that, Anyways, to me, it's a little similar to the situation up in Seattle. Maybe not as intense, because the Seattle fans really, really love the Sonics, rightfully so. I was even into Gary Payton and Sean Kemp back in the day. Dealt the shrimp with the crazy German haircut. But I really hope, and maybe in a couple years they reverse that decision and they put a team back in San Diego, because they deserve it, and hopefully it's the Chargers. Anyways, tomorrow night's game. So, unfortunately, this past weekend I was knocked out of my fantasy league. I'm the commissioner of my fantasy league. It's with several of my boys. We all have a good time. We all talk a lot of shit. Everyone knows what they're doing. It's a good time. I made the playoffs. My goal every year is to win a championship. With my knowledge and my just the way that I do fantasy football, I'm really good at picking up free agents. I'm really good at guessing. Actually, I picked up Jalen Samuels right before kickoff of 2 weeks ago, right before kickoff of the Steelers game, the game that James Conner got hurt, and I had Jalen Samuels last week. It wasn't enough. I had Kareem Hunt, just like many of you, and with the snap of a finger, just like that, it just took a few hours. I lost Kareem Hunt. Now, I'm not going to get into detail about that. I would like to. I feel like he got what he deserved. You obviously can't do that as any human being. You can't do that. But I really do feel like he still got the short end of the stick. He drew the short straw in the entire situation. Doesn't excuse his behavior. He can't be doing it. But to be a running back and to be a star running back, not just a running back, and lose your job on a Super Bowl team, that's not good. That's not good for any party involved. Hopefully he learned his lesson, and he comes back next season. He signs with another team, and he can begin to move on. Obviously, I'm going to start with Kansas City. Obviously, you're going to start Patty Mahomes. whoever, I mean, there's not a chance that he's not, he's on the free agent list. If you were lucky enough to draft him, congratulations. If you were smart enough to pick him up before the first game, congratulations. If you were lucky enough to have the right waiver, you bid enough free agent money to pick him up after week 1, I salute you. You're probably in the playoffs because of him, and there's a good chance you're going to win the league because of him. So you obviously will start Patty Mahomes. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. He's a little banged up, but obviously you're going to start him. He is one of the most, if not the most explosive player in the league. He will have 0 points through the first quarter, 0 points through half the second, and then all of a sudden, at least in my league with the point system, he'll have 15 because he'll catch, a 40, 50-yard bomb, and he'll just dance his way into the end zone. That's just the way he is. He's been going crazy in my league all season long. I think there was a game where he actually had 50 points earlier in the season. That's just what he does. Now, on the other side of the ball, it's a little bit of a toss-up. Sammy Watkins is out, which, I don't know what's up with Sammy Watkins. What happened to him? He was the fifth pick in the draft. He went to Buffalo, which I can understand if you're a wide receiver and you go to Buffalo. That's not exactly the best place that you want to start your career. They haven't been able to find a quarterback in years. This rookie that they have, Josh Allen, the jury's still out on him. But you can't be a number 5 pick, a star wide receiver coming out of college, and go to Buffalo and have a quarterback like E.J. Manuel throw you the ball and expect to make something of yourself. He did slightly bounce back this season in Kansas City, but I think that's more, Andy Reid's offense. His footwork he has absolute trash footwork. He needs to work on it to get better, and he just basically needs to work on staying healthy, whatever that may entail. I know injuries are a part of the game. It's going to happen, but you got to stay on the field. Us Cowboys fans, we have the same problem with Sean Lee. He's very effective, but only when he's on the field. When he's not on the field, he's not. What's the point? Why are we spending this salary cap money on this guy? Why don't we cut him? Because just like we cut Dez, just like he suggested, just like he snitched, why don't we cut Sean Lee, get rid of that dead weight, because he is dead weight, because he's never playing, and we could spend that money more wisely on something else, like, I don't know, a tight end? Anyways. Conley, I'm gonna give him about maybe 5 catches for about 60 yards. He'll be lucky to catch a touchdown. I wouldn't start him depending on who you have. If you're desperate, obviously you can start him, I guess. There's a few more options out there. I would try to go pick up the Hamilton from Denver. I would definitely try to pick him up. I actually told one of my buddies in my fantasy league to pick him up, and he spent a majority of his free agent money on him because he needed that third wide receiver in his lineup. But I would probably pass on Conley if it was me. Travis Kelce, automatic start. What more can you say about Travis Kelce? He's got, he's basically a little shorter version of Gronkowski. He can run down the field. He can catch. Linebackers can't guard him. Safeties are too small. Excuse me. But Travis Kelce is an automatic start. So here's where it gets a little bit tricky, is the Kansas City backfield. Unfortunately, there's no more Kareem Hunt. He is gone. He made a bad mistake. He was a complete moron. You cannot do that. You cannot do that under any circumstance, especially if you are an athlete that's making millions of dollars. You have to be able to rationalize the situation. You have to be able to turn down the emotion and turn up the logic. We all know logic and emotion are complete polar opposites. You know what I mean? It's got I forgot the term of the scientific term, but it's got an inverse effect. The higher your emotion, the lower your logic. At that situation, he should have calmed his ass down so he could have thought a little bit better, and he probably should have just, rumor has it the females would not leave his hotel room. I mean, at that point, you just gotta leave. You just gotta leave. You're Kareem Hunt. You can get an Uber. You can go wherever you want. You're Kareem Hunt. Maybe not everybody knows you, but you got money. You got enough money to leave. You got enough money to go to the strip club. You can go anywhere you want. You're Kareem Hunt. You're an NFL player. Leave. You don't need to be starting a fight with people that don't matter. They don't matter. You matter. You actually matter. They don't. Spencer Ware is the number 1 running back right now. He's banged up. I wouldn't trust him. If you're desperate, you can roll him out, but there are plenty of other players that I would put in front of him. Actually, one of them is the running back for the other team. I'll get that there in a second. I would start Justin Jackson over him. I'll go over that in just 1 minute. But Spencer Ware, I would probably bench him. I wouldn't play him. There's also Damian Williams. I would not play him either, and they actually go hand in hand as to why I would not play either of them. Last week, Damian Williams got all the touchdowns. Spencer Ware got all the yards. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? That's a typical Andy Reid run offense. When he does not have a star running back, that's what he does. He's going to switch out the running backs. Whoever's tired, come out, spell this guy, the hot hand. I think Damian Williams will get the goal line carries because he is bigger than Spencer Ware. Obviously, you're going to put him in there. If I had to choose between the 2 running backs, I would go with Damian Williams because of the touchdown aspect, and he can catch passes. Spencer Ware, he's a little bit smaller. He was a backup, and he's just not going to get the job done for you, I don't think. You know what I mean? I would not start him. I would start Damian Williams above Spencer Ware for sure if I had to choose. Kansas City defense. If you're rolling out Kansas City's defense in the playoffs as your defense, either you're an imbecile and you can't find a better defense in free agents, or I don't really know why else. I mean, you'd have to be a god. You'd have to be an idiot. The only reason I can think of is maybe they're at home, so you're going to play them because they're at home. I don't really know. They give up the most passing yards in the league. That is the number 1 reason why I would never even pick up Kansas City's defense. Last year was different. Last year I had them. They almost won me the championship. This year, completely different. Garbage. You don't want to play Kansas City's defense. So let's go over to the other side of the field on the other sideline and go over I don't even know what to call them. I don't even know what the fuck. Los Angeles Chargers? Yeah. Los Angeles Chargers. You'd have to basically, that team could be any mascot because any opposing team that goes in there, all the fans seem to root for that team instead of the Chargers. Anyways. Phillip Rivers. I would start him for sure. For sure, a lock. Even though he doesn't have all of his weapons, Phillip Rivers is in. I would put him in the Tom Brady, the Drew Brees, the Tony Romo category, where it doesn't really matter who they have around them. They're going to make it work somehow, some way. He didn't have Keenan Allen for an entire season 2 seasons ago, and he finished top 5 passing yards in the league. So you definitely want to roll out with Phillip Rivers. He shows up in these big games, even though it is a divisional opponent, and sometimes divisional games can be a little tricky. You never really know what's going to happen. You have 2 powerhouse teams going against each other, and sometimes it ends up being a defensive game on the simple fact that it's a divisional game. I can't tell you how many Cowboys games that I've watched against the Eagles, against the Giants, where both teams come in hot, both teams are throwing the ball around, tossing the ball around, just touchdown, 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 and you get to these divisional games and they slow down. I don't see that happening tomorrow night. I think there's too much on the line for both teams. I think Kansas City is trying their hardest to recuperate for the loss of Kareem Hunt. I think they're still working on that. They're lucky they have a couple more weeks left to figure it out before the playoffs started. If that Kareem Hunt news broke out at the end of week 17, I would, obviously they're going to get the first round bye, but I would put them at a tremendous disadvantage, but that didn't happen. So, that's just something that you have to think about. When you have a running back like Kareem Hunt, who's been balling all year, who is your bell cow, who is, you put him on a linebacker, he's going to torch him every single time. He can catch the ball. Trying to replace him is not very easy. So back to Phillip Rivers. He's a gamer. A lot of people think that he's a surefire Hall of Famer. I don't particularly think so. For that particular generation of quarterbacks, I would put him one notch below Tony Romo. I think Tony Romo, towards the end of his career, he figured out how to play football. He figured out not to throw off his back foot, not to throw those silly interceptions that we all knew him for back in 2007, 2008. But Phillip Rivers, he still will do that. He'll still sling the ball around, and he'll occasionally have those 2, 3, 4 interception games. I don't see that happening tomorrow because Kansas City's defense, especially their passing defense, is an absolute joke. But you never really know with Phillip Rivers. But I would still start him tomorrow night, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt. Keenan Allen, automatic start. Keenan Allen, he loves doing this when he scores. I like Keenan Allen. I think he's a fantastic wide receiver. I think he's great with Phillip Rivers. I think they've been good together for a very long time. I would start Keenan Allen without even thinking twice about it. Obviously, you would too. As always with the Chargers, they have about 4 number 2 wide receivers. You don't really know who's going to get it going. It might be Mike Williams. It might be that guy Benjamin. It might be the other Williams. You don't really know. I would bench all of them. I wouldn't play all of them unless you're desperate. Maybe you're in a 14-team league, 16-team league. Then I would roll the dice on one of the 3 of those guys. Don't ask me which one. Maybe you can leave a comment and I'll figure it out and I'll tell you. But I would just let that one go. I would go with Keenan Allen. Tight end, same thing. Antonio Gates is a surefire Hall of Famer. We talked about that a little bit last night. I would not start him. Running back, again, it's very, very interesting running back situation for the Chargers. Melvin Gordon's banged up. He's been banged up a few times this year. He initially got banged up, and then he didn't play for 2 games, and then he came back, he got hurt again, and now he's been out, and now they're trying to bring him back again. Why would you do that? For what? You're already pretty much got the wild card set up. You have you had 2 good backup running backs. Austin Eckler's out. I'm going to go over that in a second. But Justin Jackson, the rookie, he's shown you something. So why would you risk losing one of your superstar players? And before this season, I didn't believe it. After this season, I do. Melvin Gordon is a superstar running back in this league. Why would you risk losing your star-studded superstar running back for the end of the year regular season game when you're most likely going to make the playoffs anyway? If I was the coaching staff, if I was the general manager, the owner of the Los Angeles Chargers, I would keep him on the bench for one more game, because if he comes in and he tears that knee up again, he's done. He's done. He's not gonna get injured. You're not gonna keep him on the bench for week 16 and 17 and then bring him back again and risk losing him again. That would be stupidity. That'd be the dumbest shit ever. You know, Melvin Gordon deserves better than that. Austin Eckler is out. I'm not really a huge fan of Eckler. I am a fan of Eckler when Melvin Gordon is there, but I'm not a fan of Eckler to be a bell cow running back by himself. He's just too small. You know, he's in that Darren Sproles category where, you know, Sproles will come in, he will tear that ass up. The old Sproles, not, you know, the Sproles right now is too old, but the old Sproles would go in the game and he would tear that ass up as the number 2 running back. The same with Austin Eckler. He's out though. But Justin Jackson, I'm a gambler. I would definitely start Justin Jackson if I would flex him for sure, and then I would probably use him as one of my running backs depending on who I had. You know, I wouldn't play him over the top running backs. I wouldn't play him over maybe a top 10 running back, but I would definitely put him in there. I would definitely put him in the conversation. You know, I would put him in that maybe that Dalvin Cook category. I would definitely put him as, you know, maybe not the middle tier, but I would put him slightly above that. But yeah, start him. Start Phillip Rivers, start Keenan Allen, start Justin Jackson. Everybody else can be benched. As far as Kansas City goes, start Patrick Mahomes. Patrick fucking Mahomes, you're going to start him. Start Tyreek Hill, and then that's the only 2 I would start on that. Oh, Kelsey, I'm sorry. Kelsey, of course. Cannot not start Kelsey. Those 3. Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill. Everybody else, I'd be very, very hesitant. If I had to choose one of the running backs, I would choose Damian Williams because of the touchdown potential. But other than that, I am passing on everybody else. Tomorrow night is supposed to be a high-scoring game. The over is relatively high. But again, it is a divisional matchup. And with these divisional matchups, you really don't know what you're going to get because the teams know each other so well and they genuinely dislike each other. And the divisional games are so important. And they can make or break your season, you know. Ask the Philadelphia Eagles. Look what just happened to them. They lost. They got their asses kicked by the Cowboys because the defense tore that ass up. And now, less than a week later, you're talking about not only benching Carson Wentz, but, you know, shutting him down for the season because he's having back problems. Which, if Philadelphia is smart, they just won the Super Bowl. So they have an excuse, you know, they can get away with it. But if I was running that team, I would bench Carson Wentz for the remainder of the season, and then I would just rehab him all off season, and I would just hit that reset button and have him come in 100% next season. Because although I hate the Eagles, I firmly believe Carson Wentz is a fucking baller when he's healthy, of course. We all saw what he did last season when he was healthy. This season he's been a little off. I feel like they forced him to come back a little bit early, and anytime you're forced to come back early, you know, regardless of, you know, the coaching staff and the management pushing you to come back, you're not going to be the same. You know, you're especially when you miss training camp and you're not 100% in the first place, to come in, you know, a few games and try to get it going. It's very, 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 very difficult. So I hate Carson Wentz, but I hope the best for him next season. So I'm the Human Red Zone. This is my second video. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/HumanRedZone. I have an Instagram. I don't have any followers. I don't have any subscribers. I convinced one of my buddies at work to like my videos. So if you guys can do that, please subscribe. Please hit that like button. Leave a comment. I will be more than happy to engage with you guys and offer my opinion and hear what you guys have to say. The Mavericks, I'm going to get back to this game. It's the fourth quarter. It's crunch time. Luka Doncic, I love you. Dallas Cowboys, I love you. Let's hope for a high-scoring game. If you're in the playoffs, if you have a Kansas City Chief, I hope you do well. If you have a Los Angeles Charger, I hope you do well. I will see you guys later on.